Hi, I'm Brenda Cobb. I'm founder of the Living Foods Institute in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have quite a story. In February of 1999, I was diagnosed with both breast and cervical cancer, and the doctors recommended that I do surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. They wanted me to have a mastectomy and a hysterectomy. But I didn't want to do that because my mother and several of my aunts, on both my mom and my dad's side, and many friends that I had watched go through surgeries, chemotherapy, and radiation, and I saw the results that they had, which were not good. I saw a very favorite aunt who had breast cancer. They removed her breast, and then they gave her chemo and radiation, and in less than a year it was back in the other breast. So they took that breast and gave more chemo and radiation, and in less than a year it was in her lungs. So they removed part of a lobe of a lung, and more chemo and more radiation, and in less than a year it was metastasized, and it was in her bones and her brain and several of her other organs, and she died a horrific death. So I knew that surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation would not heal me, and I set out on a journey to discover how I could help myself to heal naturally. And I discovered the principles of Dr. Ann Wigmore and the raw and the living foods lifestyle. And I read a book by a woman by the name of Edie Mae who talked about her story and how she had had breast cancer and had done surgery and chemo and radiation, and her cancer had come back several times, and the doctors finally gave up hope and said that they couldn't help her anymore. And she got on this wonderful raw and living foods program and completely healed. Well, when I read her story, I was so inspired, and I thought, you know, if it could happen for her, it can definitely happen for me, because I believe that if healing is for one, it's actually for everyone. So I embarked on this incredible journey to learn how to really take care of myself. Now, I was one of those people that, had you asked me before all of this happened to me about my diet, I would have told you, oh, I eat a very healthy diet. Now, in comparison to my friend's diet, I did eat a pretty healthy diet, but I learned so much more about really what a healthy diet was, and I discovered that I wasn't eating a healthy diet at all. When I got on this lifestyle, I began eating organic, raw, and living foods, because I discovered that, of course, organic was most important for me because of the chemical toxicity in conventional fruits and vegetables. So that was one of the major things that I did, was switch to all organic. And of course, I began eating everything raw and living. My raw foods were my fruits, my vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And my living foods were the sprouted foods, like sunflower sprouts and buckwheat sprouts and broccoli sprouts. And I started taking wheatgrass juice every day, and I learned that I needed to cleanse my body, so I began doing a very systematic protocol of cleansing my colon so that I could get rid of mucoid plaque that had built up over years, and I could get rid of worms and parasites and really help my body so that it could heal itself. Well, it was quite amazing, because within 6 months, even though the doctors told me that I probably wouldn't live 6 months to a year if I didn't do what they recommended, but in 6 months I was completely cancer-free. But a lot of other amazing things happened for me as well. Even though my journey was all about healing cancer, I found that my arthritis that I had been diagnosed with at the age of 27 all went away. I never had another migraine headache. I never had any more allergies, and I had been one of those children that started on allergy medications and shots when I was very little, and I always was plagued with allergies during the springtime especially. Never had another allergy. My skin cleared up, and I had had bouts before with eczema and psoriasis and rashes. That all went away. My sleeping improved, my energy level improved. I had a lot of extra weight because I weighed almost 200 pounds when I was diagnosed with cancer. And I didn't realize that being obese is actually one of the leading causes related to developing cancer. And the weight just shed away with ease. So my entire life changed. And I was so inspired and really motivated to tell other people about what I had discovered for myself. So I opened my institute in '99, same year that I was diagnosed, and I started teaching other people. Well, news travels pretty fast when things are happening good for people and they start telling everybody else. So people began flocking to the Institute, and with every type of disease. And they would ask me, now, if I have such and such a cancer, have you ever had anybody with that type of a cancer? Will it help colon cancer or brain cancer, or will it help prostate cancer? I said, I can't tell you if it will help you or what it will do for a particular disease. I can only tell you what it has done for me and encourage you to try it for yourself. And let's see what it does for you. What do you have to lose? So as people begin to heal again and again, and then very ill people, even with metastasized cancers, began coming. The ones that the doctors had sent home from the hospital or to the hospice or at home to die. And they would call and say, I'm terminal, I'm hopeless, I'm incurable, there is no thing that they can do for me. Will this program help me? So again, I would say, I can't make a guarantee on what it will do, but why don't you come and let's find out. Let's see. What do you have to lose? Well, time and again, people that everyone had given up on began to heal dramatically. And then people began to come with lupus and multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's and chronic fatigue syndrome and candidiasis and depression and just about every illness that you can imagine, HIV and AIDS. And time and again we saw that the body was miraculously able to heal itself.